Good morning. Namaskar. Let us begin with a prayer. This is on page 128 of this book, The Universal Prayers. The first one on page 128. This is from the Brahma Purana, one of the major Puranas, Brahma Purana. Om Yam dhyayanti buddha samadhi samaye shuddham vyatsannibham nityanandamayam prasannamamalam sarveshwaram nirgunam vyaktavyaktaparam prapancharahitam dhyanekagamyam vibhum tam samsara vinashahetumajaram vande harim muktidam. Salutations, adorations to the Lord, the destroyer of all worldliness and bestower of salvation, the undecaying and infinite being, the one who is attainable through meditation alone, who is free from illusion and beyond the manifest and the unmanifest, the one who is of the form of bliss eternal, who is gracious, taintless, and without any attributes, who is the overlord, the one who is pure and limitless like the ether, and who is contemplated in samadhi by the wise. May the Supreme Lord Hari bestow His grace upon us all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us continue our study of chapter 17. Last time we were studying three kinds of tapas, austerities, in verses 14, 15, and 16. First, austerities pertaining to the physical aspect, body of our personality. And as we saw before, you have three instruments through which everything happens in life. These are called three karana. Karana means instrument. They are the mind, thinking instrument, thinking, feeling, willing instrument, memory, everything. And second, speech, expression. And third one, sense organs and body, through which all actions, physical actions, happen. So these three instruments are the only instruments through which we can do anything. There's nothing else. Whatever activities we have to do, they have to happen through these three instruments only. So these instruments are very precious tools to achieve anything in the world. Whether we are interested in worldly progress or in spiritual progress, these are the only three instruments. They have to be kept in good condition, and they have to be used for the purpose for which they were given to us. So that's what we studied in 14th and 15th, how to keep the body and speech in good condition. Now, sloka number 16 is what we have to do today. That is instructions on how to keep the mind most precious instrument. If the mind is not working, nothing else works. Speech cannot work and body cannot work. So it has to be maintained properly, used properly. So how to do that? 5 instructions. Earlier we saw 5 instructions for the body, 5 for the speech, and 5 for the mind, here in the 16th verse. So let us do sloka number 16. Manaḥ prasādaḥ saumyatvaṃ maunamātmavinigrahaḥ bhāvasaṃśuddhirityetattapo mānasamucyate. Manasam tapah. Austerity is for the mind. What are they? First one, many of these are clear from earlier study. They have all come before, but they are gathered here together. Manaḥ prasādaḥ. Prasada means tranquility, calmness, peaceful mind. If the mind is disturbed for whatever reason, if you are angry, sad, then we cannot do any work properly. Our thinking will not be straight. So tranquility of the mind is very important. Manaḥ prasādaḥ. In the commentary, Shankara says, Manaḥ prasādaḥ manasaḥ prashantihi swachhatapadanam prasāda. Purity of the mind, calmness of mind, prashantihi. That is hard to achieve because in everyday life there is always something happening to create disturbance in our mind. Life is not a smooth flow. Always success and joy and peace, that is only a dream. Life in this world is full of obstacles, difficulties, sufferings. So it requires special effort to keep the mind calm under all circumstances. That discipline is called equanimity. Whatever happens, good or bad, some things make us feel good, some things make us feel bad. We have to remain calm. That's one discipline Bhagavan Sri Krishna has been emphasizing from beginning. Throughout the Gita, it comes many times. Keep the mind calm in success and failure, in gain and loss, profit or loss, in praise and blame, in sickness and health, in poverty and wealth, prosperity. We have to remain as much unaffected as possible. There'll be reaction. We will feel bad and good. We are human beings. Emotions will be there. Feelings will be there. We have to keep them under control. Not let them take control and make the situation worse by reacting improperly. So many times in the Gita we studied that one, the importance of equanimity. For example, in shloka number 48 on second chapter, we always do some work. We cannot remain without doing any work even for a short time. So when we do some work, we either succeed or we fail. We are discussing manaḥ prasādaḥ. So when we succeed, we should not become too much exalted and celebrate too much because next moment something else may happen. When we fail, we should not become depressed or angry or bitter. We should study why we failed and correct it next time. So this was mentioned in shloka 248. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. The essence of yoga is samatvam, equanimity. Disturbing events happen, but I try to remain calm as much as possible. The very important discipline, manaḥ prasādaḥ. Keep the mind calm and tranquil as much as possible under all conditions. Similarly, in chapter 12, shloka number 19, there Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, describing the qualities of a devotee, bhakta. A devotee remains calm no matter what other people say or think about him. Shloka number 19 in chapter 12, there it says, Tulya ninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit. Ninda means blame. Stuti means praise. Some people blame us no matter what you do. For the same thing, some people praise us. That's the nature of the world. We cannot do anything. We can't change the world. We can't make other people think the way we want them to think. That won't happen. So we have to control our reaction. Tulyaninda stutir stutihi. Whether praise or blame, we remain calm. In the Song of Sannyasin, many times this verse has come. Heed then no more how body lives or goes. Its task is done. That one put garlands on, another kick his frame. Say not. No praise or blame can be where praiser praised and blamer blamed are one. Thus be thou calm, sannyasin bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Praise or blame. How to do this one? It's not easy, difficult, because situations are provocative. I try to remain calm, but something comes to disturb. How to remain calm? We have to, a jnani does it in one way, a bhakta does it in a different way. A jnani who thinks I'm not the body mind, I'm the Atman. Mano buddhyahankara chitta ninaham nacha shrotra jihve nacha grana netre. Like this, Shankaracharya's, that famous Nirvana Shatkam you have heard. The jnani says, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm the Atman. Pure consciousness, beyond all feelings and everything. All the praise and blame and happiness or unhappiness, everything affects only at the mind level. I'm not. Body also I'm not. So if somebody blames me, where does it affect? The blame affects my mind. I feel bad in my mind. Oh, why is he blaming me? But the mind is only an instrument. Like the mind and body are like the garment. The Atman, Dehi, body, mind are the garment. If something happens to garment, I don't feel it. If somebody brings a pair of scissors and cuts it when I'm wearing it, no, yes, I'm not it. In the same way, for a jnani, he has distanced himself or herself from the body. I'm the Atman. Praise and blame, it doesn't affect me. That's jnani's position. Difficult. We are affected by what everybody says and does. But how does a bhakta deal with praise and blame, happiness and happiness, pain and pleasure? The bhakta says it's all God's will or my prarabdha karma, what is happening, good and bad, is because of my karma. Swami Vivekananda has said, no misery comes to a person unless we have paved the way for it ourselves. No pain, no loss, no blame, nothing, no sickness, nothing will come except there is a reason for it. And I have done something to make it happen. I'm the cause. What I am today is this result of everything that I have thought, done, and set impressions, totality of my samskaras. So I have to bear it. And it's God's Leela, Devi Leela. I have to go through this drama of human life. So that way, Bhakta accepts everything as the will of God, as his karma, and tries to remain calm, unaffected. Takes the name of God and derives support and strength from the name of God, devotion. Either way, we have to try to remain calm. Manaḥ prasādaḥ, very important discipline. If you can remain calm, no matter what happens, then you're always calm and peaceful. Then the world jump up and down, people say whatever they want to do, it doesn't affect me, then that is happiness, unconditional happiness. If I make my happiness a function of what other people do and say about me, then I'm always under their control. They will push the buttons. So I should keep control of my mind with myself. No matter what you say or do, I am going to remain unaffected. It doesn't affect me. Then let people do whatever they want. I remain unaffected. That's a very good state to be in. Then unconditionally I'll be happy and free from worries and anxiety and fear and everything. It's very difficult. It's easy to say, because everything affects us. So gradually, by taking the name of God, surrendering to the will of God, by distancing ourselves, let people do and say whatever they want. Why should I be affected by it? Like that one. Practicing manaḥ, mental calmness, manaḥ, manasaha prashantihi, tranquility of the mind. Very important. Difficult, but has to be done. Second one is saumyatvaṃ. In sloka number 16 we are studying. Saumyatvaṃ means gentleness, not harshness. In our speech, in our actions, in our thoughts, we should be gentle. Harsh feelings, harsh thoughts, harsh speech that affects other people should not be done. Actions must be smooth. Even when we do a small thing like keeping a book on the table, we have to keep it gently, nicely, not just put it down like this. Some people keep thinking, my pet peeve is, and people close the door. They just bang it, and the whole building shakes. And I feel physically uncomfortable when it's as if it's happening to me. I gently close the door, gently keep the things in there. So thought must be gentle, speech must be gentle, action must be gentle. So that is very important discipline. Especially things they don't speak, they can't express. The book does not know how to tell me that it is feeling bad if I throw it. But we should be sensitive to the feelings of other people, animals, plants, and inanimate objects too. Gently, nicely. Saumyatvaṃ. Very important discipline. Then we remain calm. Manaḥ prasādaḥ saumyatvaṃ. Next one is maunam. This is very important discipline. Mauna means simply not speaking. Some people say every Monday I observe maunam, silence. As a vrata discipline they do. It's good. But they communicate in many other ways without speaking. They do use sign language. Like this, they do if they are hungry. If they are hungry, they do like this. That's not maunam. Only they don't speak and produce the verbal sound, but they are expressing, writing post-it notes on the refrigerator, on the table, leaving notes for somebody. It's not mauna. Mauna means mind must be calm. Simply not speaking is not mauna. Mind must be calm, free from disturbing thoughts. The maunam. Manaḥ prasādaḥ saumyatvaṃ maunamātmavinigrahaḥ. 1716. I remember reading something in Swami Brahmarupananda's book on Maunam. Swami Brahmarupananda has a 3-volume book. It's called the Universal Message with the Bhagavad Gita. So this is in volume 3, saumyatvaṃ. Yeah, speaking on saumyatvaṃ, the previous one, Ranganathanji says, saumyatvaṃ or kindliness, softness, the attitude of welcome towards others. One should not be crude and rough. You will find some people to be crude and rough, rude. But why should they be so? They have not purified their minds. Therefore, they are rough. Civilized behavior requires to be saumya, gentle. When somebody comes, welcome that person and speak a few kind words. This way, the mind should be trained. Saumyatvaṃ. Now, Swamiji talks about maunam. It's on page 225, volume 3. Then comes maunam or silence. It means a thoughtful situation with the mind active in thinking. That is called maunam. It is not necessarily silence. It means to speak only when there is something worthwhile to speak, controlling the speech that we saw in the previous verse. Rest of the time one can be silent. A person is silent because he or she has the great power of thinking. I have always expressed the idea that speech and thought are in inverse ratio. It's very interesting. He says more thought, less speech. Less thought, more speech. People are always constantly saying something unnecessary, unnecessary, timely, untimely. There is no time to think. Always saying. People who think, they speak very little. Yeah, more speech. And so we have to train the mind. Let us talk only when there is something worthwhile to talk. Otherwise, let us be calm and quiet. That will do great good to the world, not only to us. We spare other people also. By saying something unnecessary, we create disturbance in their mind, waste their time also. So we'll be doing a favor to others by not speaking too much. That will do great good to the world. According to Shankaracharya, Manana Shakti is Maunam. Manana means thinking. Silence is thinking capacity. So occasional silence is also beautiful. We are talking a lot in society, but when we get an opportunity, let us be silent. Don't disturb the peace of the world by your talk. Very often that happens. Therefore, Maunam is a tremendous discipline of the mind. And he says something, uh, we in India are the most chattering people in the world. And life is getting empty thereby. So, not always true for everybody. Just the tendency to speak must be checked. If what I'm going to say, is it necessary, timely, helpful, pleasant, useful? If not, better not to speak. Maunam. Then next discipline. Maunam, prasādaḥ, saumyatvaṃ, maunam, mānasamucyate. As we saw before, the word Atma is used in different senses, different meanings. Here, Atma means mind here. Atma can also mean the body, physical body control that we saw in the 14th verse. Atma can also mean the mind. Atma can mean the Jivatma, individual person. Atma can also mean the Paramatma. Here it means the mind. Mānasamucyate means control of the mind, self-control. Mānasamucyate means self-control. Maunam that we studied. Mānasamucyate, Shankara says, Mano-nirodha, sarvatah samanya-rupah, Mānasamucyate. Mano-nigraha, controlling the mind, is the most important thing. Mano-nigraha, Mānasamucyate, controlling the mind. Mind has a tendency to go and in all directions and think about all kinds of things. Necessary, unnecessary, pure, impure, all kinds of relevant, irrelevant thoughts come to the mind. That's the nature of the mind. But we have to use self-effort to control our thoughts. That's what we do in meditation. When you sit down for japa or meditation, we have an object, our Ishtadevata, in front of us, and we have a mantra we repeat, and when you repeat a mantra, the mind goes in other direction, then you have to bring it back. Constantly this has to be done. Wherever the mind goes away from the intended object, then we have to bring it back and make it dwell on the object of our thought. And periodically we should check ourselves. What am I thinking now? Every now and then the mind keeps on thinking something without consciously we are spending much of the time. Simply mind is wandering and I am mechanically doing something. That happens a lot. Therefore, every few minutes, Every now and then I should pause and ask myself, what am I thinking now? Is it necessary, timely, good or bad? Then I should exercise control. Atmavinigrahaḥ. Then, how to do this one? How to control the mind was described in the 6th chapter, chapter 6, sloka number 26. Very simple, straightforward. There is no secret method or anything. 626, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, as the mind wanders away from the object of meditation, as many times as it wanders away in whatever direction it goes away, gently bring it back and make it dwell on the object of meditation. Supposing I am reading Bhagavad Gita or some other, or working in the office, doing some work, and I should be thinking about what I am working, that one. At that time, all kinds of distracting thoughts will come to the mind. What I am going to have for lunch, what did this say like this yesterday? All unnecessary thoughts will come. I am working on the office or doing some project, or should be thinking about it. So the mind wanders. That's the nature of the mind. What we should do is, the moment you discover, the moment you discover the mind is not thinking what it should be thinking about, bring it back and make it think about what we should be thinking about. Same thing in meditation, same thing in japa, same thing in any work that we are doing. I'm studying Gita, but then the third mind goes somewhere else. I should discover, catch it, and no, not that one. Bring it back to Gita. Constant effort is required. So that is chapter 6, sloka 26. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Yato yato nischarati manaḥ chanchalam asthiram tatastato niyamyetat atmanyaiva vasham nayet. As the mind goes away in different directions from the object of meditation or whatever we are doing, work, as the mind goes away in different directions, so many times bring the mind back gently to the object of meditation. Tell the mind, no, not right now. I'm not, I should be thinking about this, not that one. Bring it back. I give the example of walking a dog. If you take a dog for a walk, you are holding the dog with a leash, 5-6 feet long leash, and it's supposed to walk in front of you or follow you. It does not. It takes 2 steps, 3 steps in front of you, then it goes towards a car. The nature of the dog. Then we should not become upset and angry or beat the dog. Gently give a tug and say, come back. And it comes back and walks in front of you for 3 more steps, then goes towards a tree. It's the nature of the dog. Mind is like that. Now, then don't become upset. Bring it back gently. It will make it walk in front of you. We have to gently, patiently bring the mind back from wherever it digresses, in whichever direction it goes, back to the subject on which we are supposed to be thinking at this moment. Constant effort, all the time. Then, if we keep on doing this, persist in this practice for a long time, then gradually the frequency of digression becomes less and less. The mind understands. Gradually, it takes time, patience, and persistence in our effort, but over a period of time, more concentration will come. Fewer and fewer will be the digression. That is the goal. Maunamātmavinigrahaḥ. Then next one is bhāvasaṃśuddhirityetattapo. Bhāvasaṃśuddhi here, the translation says emotional purity. Emotional purity means paraihi vyavaharakale amayamitvam bhāvasaṃśuddhirityetattapo. I say in the translation it says bhāvasaṃśuddhi. Emotional purity. Extreme emotional purity consists in candor, freedom from hypocrisy in dealing with others. All these make up the penance of the mind. Emotional purity means keeping our emotions under control. When you see somebody, mind reacts in an emotional way, generally. Not in a logical way, but emotional way. So when a person comes, you like that person, you react one way, emotion, happy, welcoming, I'm happy to see you, you stand up and shake the hand or hug. And some other person comes, I don't like this guy, why did he come here? Waste of time. And you react in a different way. These are emotional reactions that we have to control. Keep the mind calm, treat everybody alike. That we saw in chapter 5 and chapter 6. Chapter 5, I think it is sloka number 18. There it says, treat everybody alike. 5:18. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Shapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Samadarshitvam, same sightedness. Not expressing too much variation in our emotion, treating everybody alike, not hating somebody or not became attached to somebody too much, mean position. Bhāvasaṃśuddhi. Vidyavani Sampanne Brahmane, a noble person, a knower of Brahman, endowed with knowledge and humility. And animals also come in the spectrum. Gavi, go means cow. Hastini, elephant. Shuni, mean a dog. They're all different kinds of animals. Go is a sattvic animal. Dog can be a cow is a sattvic animal. Dog can be a very rajasic animal, sometimes tamasic too. Pit bulls, we have to stay away from them. So like this, people are of different nature. So we have to control our emotional reactions to it. See the presence of God in everybody and treat them all alike as much as possible, as much as practical circumstances allow. We should not become too friendly, close to wicked people. That's not good for us. And from a distance, we don't hate them. We pray for them and say, I will stay away from you. I wish you well. May God bless you. But no anger towards them. Like that. That is bhāvasaṃśuddhi. In the sixth chapter, sloka number 9, there Bhagavan Sri Krishna again brings up how to relate to people of different temperaments and attitude towards us. Some people are friendly towards us. Some people are always unfriendly. They're jealous of us or they don't like us for some reason. And in between people are there. Towards all of them, some people are sinful people, papi. Some are sadhus. Towards all of them, I remain equanimous. I don't hate somebody. I don't become attached to somebody. 6:9. Suhran mitraryudasina madhyastadveshya bandhushu sadhushvapi cha papeshu samabuddhirvishishyate. Sadhushu papeshu. Simple people, holy people. Towards all of them, I remain respectful from a distance in the case of wicked people. No hatred towards anybody. Adveshta Surabhutanam 12:13. No hatred towards any being, even if they are wicked people. You don't have to go close to them. From a distance, wish them well, but not getting too close to them. This is bhāvasaṃśuddhi, maintaining emotional purity, balance, not hating somebody or something, not becoming too much attached to somebody or something. That mental balance, equanimity is very important. So these are 5 disciplines of the mind. Threefold mānasamucyate. These are 5 manasik tapa, mental disciplines. What are they again? To recapitulate, manaḥ prasādaḥ, tranquility of the mind. Saumyatvaṃ, gentleness in our thoughts and speech and action. Maunam, silence, controlling the thoughts. Silence means. Mānasamucyate, controlling the mind. Fifth one is bhāvasaṃśuddhi, emotional purity. These 5 disciplines are mental disciplines. We have to practice this all the time. Continually restoring calmness of mind. Our mind is affected very easily by environment, other people, situations, action, what's happening by the weather, and what's happening in my body. Mind is affected by everything. The discipline is to keep the mind calm, no matter what happens, pleasant or unpleasant, bearing everything calmly. So these 5 are mental disciplines. So far we have seen in slokas 14, 15, and 16, we have seen 5 bodily disciplines, Devadvaja Guru Prajna Pujanam, etc. And sloka number 15, we have seen 5 speech disciplines, Anudvega Karamvakyam, etc. And sloka number 16, we have seen 5 mental disciplines, Mana, Prasādaḥ, etc. Last time I misspoke when I was speaking about sloka number 14, Devadvaja Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam. When speaking about the word Dvija, Dvija means twice born. Ja means Janma, Dvija. So I mentioned a verse from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where the sage Yajnavalkya says to Gargi, not to Maitreyi, who is a Brahmana. You may remember that one. A Brahmana is one who realizes God or Brahman before leaving the body, before death in this life. So Yajnavalkya says to Gargi, I said Yajnavalkya says to Maitreyi. Maitreyi conversation with Yajnavalkya is a different part. He says conversation between Yajnavalkya and Gargi. Gargi was a great Vedantin, Brahmavadini. Those days, human saints were there. Even now, there are there. So he says, Yova etadaksharam Gargi, O Gargi, etadaksharam viditva, knowing this, realizing. Akshara means Brahman, Brahman. Asmalokat praiti, leaves this world. Saha Brahmanaha, such a person is Brahmana. Not necessarily one who is born in a Brahmin family, but to realize God before leaving this world, then he is called a Brahmana. Brahmajanati Brahmana. So conversation was between Yajnavalkya and Gargi, not between Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. This is a different part. So these 3 disciplines you have seen: bodily discipline, and then mental speech discipline, and mind discipline. Now we go to the next topic. Next topic is 3 kinds of tapas. We have seen 3 kinds of tapas already: bodily tapas, speech tapas, mind tapas. Now the other 3 kinds of tapas are sattvic, rajasic, tamasic tapas. Tapas means austerity are of 3 kinds depending upon the guna: sattvic austerity, rajasic austerity, tamasic austerity. What are they? The next 3 slokas, 17, 18, and 19. Then 3 kinds of dana will come. Then the chapter will end. So, sloka number 17, sattvic tapas. Saddaya paraya taptam tapastatrividam narai apala kankshi birjuktai satvikam parichakshate. Tapaha, satvikam tapaha. Satvik tapa means what? Tapas can be satvik, rajasic, tamasic. Satvik tapa is being described here in sloka 17. Saddaya paraya taptam. Taptam means austerity done, tapas that is done. Paraya sadev, supreme faith. Para means supreme, complete faith, conviction that this is the right thing to do, and I must do this one. Conviction must be there. In whatever we do, everything we say, do, or think must be done with conviction. If I don't think this is good for me, I should not do it or think about it. I should be convinced that this is the right thing for me to do. At this time I'm doing this work, I must have full conviction this is the right thing for me to be doing at this time. I could be doing so many other things, but if all the other things that I could be doing at this time, I've chosen to do this one, this is the best for me. That conviction which must be there behind all our actions. Sadhaya. The word Shraddha comes so many times. This chapter is called Shraddhatra Vibhaga Yoga. What is Shraddha? There is a nice definition of Shraddha in the given by Shankaracharya in his Viveka Chodamani. Many of you studied that one with Swamiji. There, sloka number 25 in Viveka Chodamani. There Shankaracharya defines Shraddha in this way. He says, Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyavidavadharanam Sa Shraddha Katita Sadbhihi Yaya Vastu Palabhyate. Shraddha is described as by the Sadbhihi, by wise people, those who know what is Shraddha. They have defined Shraddha in this way. Two things are required. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satyabuddhihi. What the Shastra says, what the Guru says, enlightened Guru says, they are the truth. They depict the truth. Not whatever anybody can say anything, and that need not be truth. So many things you watch on TV, on internet, all of it should not be taken as a gospel truth. A lot of in between things are there. Exaggerations and all. We should not take everything as truth. You should evaluate and use our discretion. So what are two things in which we have to have full faith? Shastra. Shastra means not all kinds of Shastra, as we saw before. There are some Shastras which depict Yuga Dharma, what is good for the right at this present time in the present place. They change with time. Like Smriti Granthas, Manusmriti, all those things, much of it is relevant, but something goes out of fashion with time. So there, women, in some Shastras, I don't know which Shastra, it's women should not chant Gayatri Mantra. That like that some people believe. And women sometimes don't chant Gayatri Mantra because they were told by their parents and grandparents that being a woman, should not chant Gayatri Mantra. That is not relevant. The Upanishad says no difference between man and woman. Everybody, man and woman, has a body-mind level only. Atman level, there is no. The sexless self, whose father he, who is child, Swamiji says. So that kind of Shastra, which depicts Yuga Dharma, which are maybe right at some point for some reason, we don't know, but not eternally, universally relevant. That we should not take. When there is a conflict between what some Shastra says, Smriti says, and what Shruti says, Shruti means Upanishad, then Shruti has the final authority. Upanishad. So Upanishad, there is no such teaching. There were famous women saints for their Gargi, all people were there in the Upanishadic time. So, Shastrasya Guruvakyasya. Guruvakya means or enlightened teacher says. So many teachers, they are themselves self-appointed teachers. They say whatever they want. They have to be discriminating. So, having firm conviction based upon understanding and evaluation that what this Shastra says, this person, this Guru says is true, having that conviction behind all our actions and speech. So when I am doing this work right now, I must have 100% conviction this is the right thing for me to be doing at this time. How do I know that is the right thing? Instead of studying Gita, I could be doing something else. What makes me think that this is the right thing for me to doing at this? What makes me convinced? I'm fully convinced, 100%. No doubt in my mind that this is the right thing for me to be doing at this time. How do you know that one? Shastra Guru Vakya. Sri Ramakrishna said again and again, scriptures. Not all scriptures, some scriptures. In the Upanishad, it says, Swadhyaya So much emphasis has been given in the Upanishad on Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. The three Upanishads. So Swadhyaya has to be done every day. Some scripture has to be studied. So this is the right thing for me to be doing at this time. I'm convinced about it. That conviction must be there behind all my speech and actions. That this is right. That this is the right thing for me to be doing at this time. So that is Shraddha. Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhihi. Being convinced that what the Shastra says, Guru says, is Satyam, is the truth. Shraddha Sadbihi Kathita. That conviction is called Shraddha by those who know Sadbihi. Yaya Vastu Palabhyate. Vivekachudamani verse number 25. What is Shraddha? With that Shraddha, we can reach the goal. Vastu Palabhyate. Vastu means Atmajnana, self-knowledge, or for devotees, pure devotion. So that is Shraddha we are discussing. So coming back to verse number 17, three kinds of tapas. Shraddhaya paraya taptam. Any kind of austerity that is done with full conviction that this is the right kind of austerity for me to be doing at this time. That conviction must be there behind all our actions, thoughts, and speech, especially when you do tapas. Saddaya paraya taptam trividham naraihi by people. Taptam tapaha, austerity is done by people. Trividham, three kinds of austerities are there. Now, what is Sattvic austerity? Second line of Sloka 17. There Bhagavan says, Aphala Kangshibihi. Phala means the fruit of our action. Whatever you do, some result will come. Good, bad, indifferent, depending upon what kind of action we do. Phala Kangsha means desire for a fruit of action. We've been told many times in the Gita that you should not have any attachment, desire for a fruit of action. This fruit will come. Good or bad, accept it calmly. Do your best. That teaching we have seen before. Aphala Kangshibihi. By those people who have no attachment or desire for fruit of their action. Do it as an offering. Something comes in return, good or bad, I've done my part, I will accept the result calmly, but I am not attached to the result. If it comes good, if it does not come, if it comes later, it's okay. That non-attachment to the fruit of action is an important part of tapas. When I do any tapas, whether I do japa for half an hour, or read scriptures, or do some dana, charity, or go on a pilgrimage, whatever I do, tapas, should be done without being attached to the fruit of action. We should not calculate, I'm doing this much japa, so how much benefit will I get? If I do 1,000 japa, this benefit. If I do 5,000 japa, I'll get 5 times. Not that kind of, it will not work that way. Without calculating, just as an offering, out of love, we should do japa. Out of love for God, repeat His name nicely with joy and devotion. That is japa. Not as a transaction. I do this japa, this must happen, that will not, this is not right. Aphala kangshibihi. By those people who have no attachment to the fruits of action, by those people, satyikam tapaha taptam satyikam parichakshate. That kind of tapas is called satyika tapas, satyik austerities. No attachment to the fruits of action. Doing it out of love as an offering. Many times we have been told in the Gita, whatever you do it joyfully, nicely, and offer it to me, the Lord says. So that we become unattached to the fruit of action. Not that He needs anything from us. Now we go to the Rajasic tapas. Sloka number 18. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambena chaiva kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. Rajasic tapas is being described here, Sloka 18. Satkaramana pujartham. Expecting satkara means reception, welcoming, honoring. I am doing this work, people should treat me well. Satkara. They should thank me and appreciate my work, my tapas. I'm doing such a big puja, spending so much money, and all these things, music and dance and everything, celebration. And people should thank me, respect me. Satkara means expecting respect from other people for what I am doing. Mana means respect. Satkara mana, to win respect and honor. Puja, expecting them to worship you. Oh, what a great person. How much big puja, yajna is organized. So many $1 million he spent. Fed so many people, so many days for worship. So many 108 priests came, Vedic priests came from India to chant Vedic mantras for 12 days. All this big, one can do this one. There is no harm in doing very grand scale tapas, but not expecting satkaramana puja, expecting respect, worship from other people, acknowledgement, praise should not be there. Do it as an offering. Dambhena. Damba means uh, ostentation. Very, very, very big show. The Rajasic devotee, Sri Ramakrishna describes Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic devotees. Rajasic devotee, when he does japa, he uses Rudrakshamala, and then the Rudrakshas are coated with gold plated something. It's not necessary. Any bead is okay. So what show off? And puts on a mala with all this gold and everything, and rings, and some bracelet here saying something, gold, everything. That is all damba show, not necessary. Simple. People should not know. Quietly, when Latu Maharaj used to do japa, nobody would know. He would cover himself with a sheet, and people would think that he is sleeping. No, he rarely slept, because once in the evening, when Latu Maharaj was a young devotee staying in the Dakshineshwar with Sri Ramakrishna, evening he was dozing off. Most of the people know that one by experience. When you sit down for japa, we feel sleepy. So Sri Ramakrishna gently told him, rebuked him, hey, this time for meditation, thinking about God, you're sleeping. That was it. Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutananda made up his mind, I'm not going to sleep. So he would rarely sleep for a short time. Most of the time, he would lie down, covering his body with a sheet. People thought he was sleeping. No, he was doing japa. You don't want anybody else to know that I'm doing japa. No public display of japa. Nicely, not known to other people. Best way to do japa. You have to pray in secret to the Lord in a closet, the Bible says. The Lord will open you in reward, in open, will reward you in the open. So that is Dambena, without show. One day it actually happened. Latu Maharaj was lying down with covering his body, and many people thought maybe he is sleeping. But I think it was Swami Premananda, somebody was there. No, they said, no, he's not sleeping. He's doing japa. They gently removed the sheet. He was doing japa with tears in his eyes. Secret. Damba means no show. Your austerity, japa must be done in privately in your puja room, not in a public place so everybody should see. Kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. That kind of tapas, rajasic tapas, chalam. Chalam means it is fickle. Fickle means unsteady. Adhruva means unsteady. That means sporadic. When fit of enthusiasm, you do a lot of japa, or someday I spend 3 hours doing japa, and next few days, no, nothing, not like that. Steady, chalam adhrivam, not fickle and not steady. That is, Rajasic tapas means chalam adhrivam. It is fickle and uncertain. Sometimes you do, sometimes you do not like that one. So to repeat sloka number 18, tapas performed hypocritically to win respect, satkara, Mana, to win honor and reverence, puja, is classed here as Rajasic tapas. It is fickle and uncertain. Now we conclude with sloka number 19, Tamasic tapas. Sloka number 19. मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत्पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतं तामसं tapah being described here. You don't have to pay much attention to it. We should not do this one. He says, Mudagrahena with aviveka nischayena. Shankara says, Mudagrahena means aviveka nischayena. Lack of discrimination, which is discrimination is viveka is lacking in their determination to do some kind of tapas. Obstinately with firmness due to lack of discrimination. Viveka must be, that is, to ability to distinguish between what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is unreal, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. This is right time or place to do japa. Is it the right way to do japa? Must be understood and discriminated. There may be a wrong way to do japa, wrong place to do japa, wrong time to do japa. There may be all kind of austerities that we have to discriminate. Mudagrahena with he says here, aviveka nischayena, firmness due to lack of discrimination, misunderstanding. Mudagrahena, atmano pidaya, pida means pain, torturing. Atmano pida means torturing oneself. Atma means oneself, torturing one's body. Like standing with one hand raised in the middle of the water, waist deep water, that is not necessary. Torturing the body. Matmana pidaya yat tapaha kriyate. Or parasutsadhanartham va, to create trouble for other people, injuring other people. There are certain kinds of tamasic austerities, rituals that are done to create harm to other people. We should not even think about those things. Only love and respect for everybody, no hatred, not even the slightest inconvenience must be done to other people by my actions. Very being sensitive to the feelings of other people when I say something, do something, or any kind of action. So, this tamasic tapaha. Penance that is performed obstinately or that which tortures the self and aims at injuring others is tamasic tapas. Of course, they should not do, even think about tamasic tapas. Sattvic tapas, as you saw in sloka number 17. That's what we have to do. Sattvic tapas. What is that one? Saddaya paraya taptam. Tapas taptam trividam naraihi. Aphalakankshibhihi yuktaihi. Satvikam parichakshate. Supreme faith. Saddaya paraya taptam. Faith in the words of the element teacher. Faith in the words of the scriptures, Upanishads. With complete conviction that this is the way, truth, that is depicted in the Upanishads and by the taught by the element teacher, that is truth that I have to follow. If I follow that one, their instructions, I'll be able to reach the goal. That conviction must be there. Haphazardly doubting, is it going to help me or not? Is it waste of time or is it useful? That kind of wavering, doubt should not be there when you do any action, especially tapas, with full conviction. That is sattvic tapas that we have to do. So we'll stop here. Then two more topics are there in the 17th chapter. Next three shlokas, 20, 21, 22, they describe three kinds of dana. Dana means charity. What is charity? How to do it? When to do it? In what way? With what attitude? We'll study that one next time. And then the last topic in 17th chapter is Om Tat Sat. Whenever you do any action, we should say Om Tat Sat. At the end of the puja, end of the when I say the closing prayer, I say Om Tat Sat. Why we should say Om Tat Sat? That is being explained in the last three slokas, 23, 24, 25, and 26 also. That's the end of this chapter. We'll do those slokas next time. Let me stop here and say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavanta Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases and other problems. May all understand, realize, and practice what is noble and dharmic. May no one be subject to any kind of misery or suffering. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. No ill will, no hatred. Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. No suffering due to natural calamities. Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om Tat Sat. At the end of all activities. So I'll stop here and all of you stay well. God willing, we shall see you next week. Good. Yeah. So that's why saying Hari Om Tat Sat and the Murti. Then why people knowing the knowledge fear confusion does not go. Okay, that's a question we'll discuss next time. Please remind me if I forget. Why people fear, why there is confusion. Why despite knowing the knowledge, fear, confusion does not go. If you know the knowledge, self-knowledge, then there is no fear, no confusion. Atma-jnana. But knowledge here means worldly knowledge. Still fear is there, confusion is there. Why it is there? That we studied that before. We'll recapitulate next time. Thank you very much and stay well.